everyone, and welcome to our channel and the new feature on here. Now, these videos that I do on a Thursday used to be on my other channel, or on our other channel, Claire Thackeray, but I'm moving them onto here because I feel as though they'd fit in more on this channel because we dive deep on here into global topics, etc. So it frees me up on Claire Thackeray to do more of the other stuff, the healing stuff and the spiritual stuff, even though I do try and bring a healing and spiritual element into my videos. So I've got a list of things. I think I've got 3 things at least today. So we're going to be looking at the possible chemical castration of UK sex offenders in prisons. So basically, well, I'll come back to it for you, okay? Donald Trump and Bush's South African president in a video alleging genocide of white people in South African farmers. But then at the end of the session, the South African president said the meeting had gone very well. And many people are saying that it was reminiscent of when the same thing happened with Zelensky. We're then going to go down and look at some royal stuff. I know we're going to definitely look at Harry and Meghan this week and their wedding anniversary and maybe the garden party that we've just had this week as well. So let's go into it then. We've got 3 things at least to look at. So let's look at this chemical cash. And by the way, as I say with all of these videos, I'm aware there's a lot of things I miss in these videos. There's a lot of things happening in the world, of which some stuff I just won't go there, softy. And some stuff there's that much happening. There's always going to be some country missed out or something that it is what it is. Chemical castration of prisoners in the UK. So basically, Kier Starmer's government have said that they are looking into chemical castration in order to release lots of sex offenders, child sex offenders, etc. To free up the spaces in prison. Now, as I'm even processing this, it's like, well, out of society, out of the things that can, I mean, you know, looking at the worst crimes in society, surely to God, doing something towards children is right at the top of that list. I may be wrong. Maybe speaking on social media is. I'm joking. Um, it just when I saw it on the sky this morning, I was like, whoa, I'm going to read on that because I remember years ago, I think somebody said to a police officer that I knew, why don't they do this to offenders? But the physical castration, and basically he said, yeah, but um, it doesn't stop them doing other things. Do you know what I mean? Watching things. Um, ooh, the lovers in reverse. This is an attack on purity, I'm feeling. Innocence, choice. Um, Also, as well, trigger warning, but anything that goes into the body that messes with the chemical systems, I'm hearing, um, put aside what that person has done, okay, actually can cause more trouble, okay, more issues. Um, because one of the things we need to be looking at in society, and one of the things that leaders need to be looking at, and I know there's a lot of problematic areas around political stuff and political leaders, etc., is to understand why this is happening rather than throwing chemicals into people and throwing them back out into the world, if that makes sense. So I mean, I know I'm looking at this from a very, you people may watch this and go, Claire, that's not possible. But actually, as we awaken and as we heal, it's going to have to be more possible, where we're going to have to understand what makes an abuser. But this is actually throwing that problem back out into society, back out into society, back out into near the victims, back out into vulnerable spaces. Um, it just seems quite seedy, does this? Anyway, okay, let's keep shuffling because that just sprung out at us. I wonder what week of my cycle I'm on this week. Anyway, so chemical castration. In prisons in the UK, please, dear ones. Can I have guides? I need guides. I've got guides. Can I have guidance with the cards, please? Okay. Interesting. This is Kier, I feel. This is his government, I feel, which feels very weakened. I think, to be quite honest, I think whoever got in right now would be weakened. But this is a lot of things coming at him. And rather than, he's just, he's approaching things very hot-headed to try and get things dealt with. It's almost like he hasn't even got the time to really think from his heart space, from emotional intelligence. He's just going into ticking the boxes, getting the job done, without actually without thinking about what he's doing and the consequences of that. And he possibly, I mean, this is the same man, allegedly, that was involved to some degree with the Jimmy Savile stuff that, didn't work out. Jimmy got away with things, etc. Um, Betrayal and backstabbing in reverse. So we're getting the reverses coming up. Page of Swords, toxic choices. That's interesting. Wow. I don't even know how to put this out. It's almost like we're looking to our leaders to solve this, and it feels as though our leaders aren't going to be solving it. This is going to be something that has to be solved. Is it grassroots level, at our level? Us looking at our own communities, us having to do the work in relation. I don't mean like you see those social media people that go after abusers. I don't mean that. I think that's problematic as well. But us having to look at our own dynamics, our own societies, our own communities, reading the warning signs about this type of thing. I don't think there's any simple answer. I think it's wrong to release these people. But if you'd watched that video I did on Claire Thackeray with Brenda, we actually spoke about prisons and prisons being a space where they're not just going to be punished, but we're going to rehabilitate and we're going to understand. I know it can be triggering and it shouldn't be triggering, but I think there's a big issues with prisons and with schools. Is they lack nature, they lack nurture, they lack care, they lack love in some respect, especially in, with the schools. Oh God, this is so difficult. And it shouldn't be difficult. I'm not going to difficult. As in, I'm not bothered if people get triggered. But at the minute, throwing chemicals into someone and throwing them back out into the universe is not the answer. Full stop, comprende. It's not the answer. It's not the answer. In fact, it's just another excuse to throw something into somebody. What is the answer is actually finding out why and starting with the prison system of number one, why is it so overrun? Why have we got such an increase of crime in the world? Um, I was watching somebody that I really, really love watching, and it was part of a course that I'm on at the minute. And she was actually saying, she was talking about the power of meditation, and she said that there was a part of the world where all these monks got together and they spent the day in deep meditation. There was a whole host of them. They've worked out how many they needed to actually make an impact on the local village, a local town. So they got into meditation and they stayed there in deep meditation, deep heart-centered meditation. And they then looked back at the crime rate for that day, and the crime rate had reduced right down. And they believed, and I believe, that a big part of that was meditation. And they do say, don't they, that if all the world sat down at the same time every day and meditated, it would poof. And this reminds me of a dream I had this week. This is going to be the first time I talk about a dream in this reading. There was a situation. I was out walking in this city, and there was something happening. Somebody was being attacked, and everybody was diving in, diving in, diving in. And I said, "Stop diving in, blast love at it." And people looked at me like I was tapped. And I was saying, "Blast love, blast love at it. Stop attacking it. Stop trying to jump in. Just blast love at it." And everybody stopped around me in this city and they just blasted love at this situation. And this person that was attacking people backed off. So yeah, there's that in this situation as well. Ace of Cups. There you go. Shit done. There you go. Ace of Cups. It's love. And that yes, it does work. People who lack love, who have lacked love in their life, go out and hurt others. It's a fact. Um, you can see now the people in society that lack love more than we've ever been able to see them because they're angry, they're abusive, they're combative, they're a nuisance, they're toxic. You can see it, okay? And you can see the aspects of us that are still healing from a lack of love from others or self-love or both. The clearing, not being the answer, and the vision coming in, the Two of Wands, and the loss. And this is again about working on the self and releasing the burdens. I just get it off my to-do list. I've said before in previous readings that Kier's got a big to-do list. And it's almost like just get it off my to-do list. There's just too much here. I can't focus on what I want to really do. Can I just see his actual intention in releasing sex offenders, please? Oh, she might regret shuffling on this. Show me his actual, I want to see his actual intention on releasing sexual offenders. It's just, it grinds my gears because, um, again, it's children. It's the vulnerable. It's the vulnerablest of the vulnerable in society are children. Um, a very bad decision, not coming from light, not coming from spiritual maturity. Um, I mean, when this card is in, when it's upright, it's about light. It's about spiritual evolution. It's about working with the light. When it's in reverse, ooh, what's going on here? When it's in reverse, it's about the opposite. It's quite dark. I'm going to stop there. I don't need to go any further, do I? Um, oh, it's about saving money. Honest to God, if you'd have come on and said, right, I actually want to look at why people are abusing children. I want to put money, my phone's vibrating, I keep getting spam calls, apologies. I want to put money into learning, into rehabilitation. I'm going to keep them in. We're going to have these units, we're going to keep them in. I'd be all for it. I'd be all for it. We're going to look at societal structures, we're going to look at family structures. I mean, whether I'm going to be alive to see those kind of speeches from leaders, I don't know. This is about saving money. This is about a dark decision coming from a dark place. Ooh, ooh. The world in reverse, which is a very 3D dense, blocked. I'm being shown a coffin and a nail being put in it. So it's another nail in his coffin. And it's not protecting our youth. It's not protecting innocence. In fact, it's almost attacking innocence. And I'm going to pick one more card. Deep, dark, and dangerous. High Priestess in reverse. She's not into her intuition. She's not into balance. When she's upright, she's balanced her light. She's balanced her dark. She knows how to use her authority. She's intuitive. She's spiritual. She's strong. When she's in reverse, she could be flooded. What she's flooded with, who knows? But she's flooded with either her dark or light or both. She's lost. She's drowning, and I think he is drowning. So I'm going to pull a card for the collective now in relation to guidance for this. So I go to my Oracle card, and the deck I'm using today is Work Your Light. We have to work a lot of light at the minute by Rebecca Campbell. And that, as you know, is a Radiant Rider-Waite deck. Council of Light, divine orchestration, help us in the subtle realms. So many people are feeling right now that they have no faith in the powers that were. The world is going from the old patriarchal ruling into the guidance of light, not the ruling of light. So we may feel we've got no support right now, and this is awful, especially if you're a parent watching and hearing this kind of shite. But you've got, and this is where spiritual practice comes in, and we're going to need more spiritual practice. Your guardians in light are here. And unfortunately, as well, I feel this is part of the purge that we're having to go through. We're having to see the underbelly. So the underbelly of ourselves, our own internal wounding, community wounding, family wounding, um, and yeah, global wounding, political wounding, you name it. Right. Oh God, the Donald. Right, right, right. Let's get on to the Donald. President Trump. It was funny because when I saw it on Sky, I just clicked because I thought I'm going to watch the video. I watched the video till the end. And the minute I clicked it on and he leant forward, did Donald on his, and I was like, and I just said, I went, oh no, oh no, because I just knew it was going to be another moment with him. But he actually could be right in what he's saying. If he is right in what he's saying, nobody should be persecuted in a country. But I try and when I'm doing a reading about President Trump to not get into doom and gloom because people can take it way too seriously. I try and lighten the energy a little bit. So, show me the energy in that meeting between Donald Trump, President Trump, and the President of South Africa. Show me the energy. Just show me the energy of the meeting. And then we'll look at the energy of both, yeah? So, show me the energy of that meeting. Hanged Man in reverse. So, we've got a blocked energy here. When it's like that, it's about seeing a different perspective, it's about releasing blocks. It's about spirituality. It's about divine guidance. Okay. We've got the Hierophant in reverse, like with old Kier. Something coming from a place that's possibly not of light. Okay, that's very dark. Now it is a dark subject that they're talking about. Okay. Four of Swords in reverse, which can be illness, can be tiredness, age. Oh, but Joe Biden. Speaking of age, sorry, that's not, they're all old though, aren't they? I need to read on Joe Biden. I knew there was something else. Um, I think with Trump, there's something wrong with his diet. I think, I've looked into this. I have researched this. And he drinks a lot of Diet Coke, which really affects your mental health and affects your cognitive abilities, etc. He eats a lot of McDonald's. He's not looking after himself. So we've got this as well. Four of Pentacles in reverse, so needing to release that old patriarchal energy. Betrayal and backstabbed. I'm feeling he's possibly getting people into the White House to show them up. Page of Pentacles. But also a concern for farmers that are possibly being persecuted. And the Emperor, this was a meeting between rulers. And I like the fact we've got this upright, because if we'd have got this in reverse, we would have been in trouble. So this is interesting as well, because Four of Swords in reverse can also be about the death of people at the hands of the old patriarchal energies. Ooh, and the betrayal and the fact that people should be free to farm land, and making a change in relation to that. The Hermit, but again, we've got something here we've not even scratched the surface of it. Before I came onto this reading, some wise man, wise energy came in. And he felt like he was from South Africa, actually. And he said that this subject is very, very complex. It's not as simple. It was kind of giving me the heads up that it's not as simple as we think it's going to be, especially to read them and heartbreak behind it. So, and temperance. So there's something out of balance here. And it could be as well that the president of South Africa was a little bit like, whoa, do you know that? He seemed, from what I saw, to handle it quite well. So we've got a meeting looking at the farmers, looking at the death of farmers, looking at, the leaders coming together. Um, let's have a look at the energy of each leader. So we'll start with Donald, we'll start with Trump, and then we'll do the South African president. So President Trump, show me President Trump's energy in that meeting, please. Show me President Trump's energy in that meeting. Oops. Okay, God, he's oh, do you know, where am I? Excuse me. He is like a bull in a china shop at the minute. He's bringing up uncomfortable things and uncomfortable truths. Let me tag back in. So, show me Donald Trump's energy, President Trump's energy in that meeting. Show me President Trump's energy in that meeting. Oops. So, the past, releasing the past. Illusion at the bottom. There's a lot here that we're not seeing. Again, reminds me of the message I got. Someone's in the dark about something, very illusionary, trying to sort things out. The mist is clearing. Queen of Wands in reverse, though, can be quite hard, quite brutal. There's something about this situation that's runs deep with President Trump. And it's more about that than it is about that, if that makes sense. It's something to do with the past, the Ace of Wands, trying to make us stand. Releasing restrictions. Knight of Cups in reverse, which is not fulfilling your wish. Strength in reverse, which is weakened. Overwhelm. Something here about money. Highlighting other people's weaknesses to hide his own. Um, Knight of Swords in reverse. We'll do one more card. And a choice. We'll do one more card. And the Lovers, isn't that his card? Right. I want to do a clarifier for the Lovers. Releasing heartbreak and the Tower, the clearing. I've said this before. Love him or hate him, his actions, his behavior, whether they come from a sound place or not, at a higher level, all of the well, they're all part of the clearing. Even Kier's decision is showing people just how low governments have got. They're all trying to show us something. They're all trying to wake people up to the fact that they've put their power in the wrong places. Do I think that Trump's aware of that? I don't know. I'm not sure. Do I think that Trump's got issues with arrogance and attitude? I do, yeah. Do I think he's all bad? No. Do I think he's all good? No. Um, I always find there's many, many different layers within all of these readings. He's got his own vision as Trump. He's got his own vision of what needs to be done in the world, in America. It's about his vision. And he wants to get his vision. And what some people agree with his vision, all right, some people don't, fine. But this is about his vision of how he sees the world. And it's almost like not caring really what anybody else thinks. This is my vision. Um, and in his head, it's a perfect vision. It's a perfect vision. It's really, what would you not want to like about this? And actually, he's right. White farmers shouldn't be persecuted. No farmer should be persecuted. Um, but then there's also the fact that in his own country, many people are being persecuted for being different. So he's almost like going after one person because one person has a country that is persecuting people that are different. And do you see what I mean? So it's not a simple thing with Trump. It's a very complex thing. Um, I also wonder if he wants a piece of the pie. I'm not into politics at all, but there's something here about he wants a piece of the pie. Um, let's do a reading on the energy of the South African president. South African president, the South African president. The energy of the South African president in that meeting. So he now knows where he stands, releasing the illusion, but feels cornered over something. Something feels blocked. Interesting, he's getting a lot of reverses as well. Six of Swords in reverse. King of Cups in reverse, so quite angry over it. There's coldness there. Being King of Cups in reverse ain't a good energy. There's anxiety over this. There's a lot of seedy things going on in a lot of countries at the minute that many people are trying to hide. You know, lack of emotional fulfillment, all over the place. Two of Pentacle, having to defend himself, feeling the energy of whoa. Page of Cups in reverse, and the Star card, which is good. But will he do anything about it? He's been shown something, but will he do anything about it? Out in the cold, there's something about money here, something about um money being hidden. I don't know anything about the history there, but what I'm feeling is like a colonization energy where white people have gone over there. Um, and there's a bit of an energy there of turning a blind eye to certain things that are going on with whites due to the past. And didn't Trump get the Six of Cups as well with the past stuff? So there's reverse, it's because they call it reverse racism. There's that going on. Um, yeah. Show me Trump's intention. Show me Trump. Oops, show me Trump's intention. Show me Trump's intention in that meeting. God, every time I shuffle on him. Show me Trump's intention. Show me Trump's intention. Yeah, he's not in alignment with himself. Way out of alignment with himself. Um, he spotted something here, a weak spot in the country, and for some reason he's bringing it up. Could be deflection, could be like narcissistic rage or whatever. Um, Six of Coins. He likes to be the one that Did you know this about? So he likes the humiliation, he likes to be the big I am. He's got to be to be Trump. Do you know what I mean? Um, but it's also about bringing in balance. One more card, the Empress out here in reverse. This comes from a mother wound. I've said this about him and his mother. He's got a serious mother wound. He's never been brought up to be a nurturer, to be gentle and loving. He's got a coldness about him. Um, and that is affecting him in his work. Yes, he's possibly seen something in the country that needs highlighting, but there's something out of alignment within him that he struggles with. Oracle card for the people watching in relation to this situation. Oracle card. People watching in relation to this situation. Priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead? Again, as our leaders crumble, how are you being called to step up and lead? Deep replenishment, retreat, rest, and be held at these times. So stepping into your divine feminine, your divine masculine, and resting and retreating during these times. Right, Joe Biden. Joe Biden, and blessings to Joe Biden at the cancer diagnoses. Um, oh, and yeah, I mean, Four of Swords in reverse can be illness, needing to take time out, needing to be gentle with himself. There's the devil at the bottom of the deck, so there's possibly an anger here. There's something to do with whatever. We'll look at that in a bit more detail in a minute. Um, Not long left, no vision. Um, when I heard the news, I got a feeling of sadness that actually handing the country over to Trump has run very deep. Feeling as though he's not actually fulfilled something in his life. Um, yeah, he doesn't feel as though he's fulfilled. He feels like he's been a failure. And he's just stepped out of one of probably the most powerful job in the world. But he doesn't feel as though he's achieved anything. He's feeling quite sad with this. Um, Holding on to the past, the Four of Pentacles, feeling, um, but also as well, I'm feeling being acceptance of the time. It's his time to transition, and the Queen of Pentacle in reverse as well. One more card, the Hierophant in reverse. Let's keep pulling. I'm intrigued. Eight of Wand in reverse. Restrictions. One more card. Seven of Swords. Trickery. Yeah. I've never. You watch me. I don't have favourites, and I don't get into sides, and I don't. Um, I've never been. I was never really that enamored with Joe Biden. To be fair, like I'm not really that enamored with Trump. I can see through it all. Um, I think they could have been better leaders for America. To be honest, I've said this. Sometimes you're just, if they're saying retirement age is in your 60s. Why are we getting leaders in their 70s? Leaders of countries. People should not be leading countries. I don't even think in their 60s, to be honest. I think a prime age for it would be 40s and 50s. Um, just is. It's biology. It's fact. It's science, and people love the science, don't they? Um, and there's a reason why we're getting old men in positions of power. There's many reasons for that. Um, I do also feel as well he's been ill for some time. He's been restricted for some time, which again, when you're in charge of the most powerful country in the world, isn't a good place to be. And I'm feeling the sadness there with that. I'm feeling he was more of a pawn than a leader. I think they all are to some extent. They just appear very differently and hide it very differently. Um, I think he's ignored his health as well for some time. He's not honoured the fact that he's getting older. And I think maybe these men are trying to teach other men this as well, to honour the fact that you're getting older, to see your abilities and your capabilities, to see where your strengths and your weaknesses are, to know when to step back and look after you and love you as well. To know when to step in. I mean, what would they call it for the man? For the woman, it'd be crone or hag. What would they call it for them to step into being the elder? Um, being elderly doesn't have to be a little doddery old man that, pisses himself. That does happen. I mean, young people can piss themselves as well. But being stepping into the true elder energy, um, rather than still wanting to be at the top, and the consequences of that on his health. Yeah, card for the collective in relation to Joe Biden. Take a break. A life's. Swear to God. Take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. I'm sorry, but yes, I think elder people can have hobbies and interests and still go on holiday, and I'm all for that. And be of service and guide the next generation. I'm all for that. I want that to be great, but this is a teaching moment of you hear of so many men, especially men, that work until the end, and that retire on the Friday and they're dead on the Monday. We've got to stop this work ethic. Um, retirement, I'm hearing, should be a time to be enjoyed. The past 4 or 5 years he could have had with his family. He could have had holidays with his wife. Um, he could have had time with his grandchildren. What's more important, being president or being a loving family man? What I'm also hearing as well, the world needs more loving family men than it does more presidents. Ooh. And play. I swear to God, have fun, celebrate, don't be serious. Learn from Joe Biden. Learn from them all. You don't want to be a CEO in your 70s and your 60s. Let it go. I've been having a conversation with someone recently about people in institutions that are retiring but not passing on the information. They're taking it with them. But also as well, people in institutions holding on to top jobs and not letting the younger people come in. I mean, wouldn't that be great though if people that had been in positions of power in these institutions got to a stage where they said, actually, I want to step back and become an advisor now and let the next generation, because the more people hold on to these jobs, the older people are going to be. Anyway, right, Harry and Meghan. Obviously, I do CT's Roll Tarot on here, so I will be putting this video in the CT's Roll Tarot playlist. But because I'm moving these videos onto here, if there's anything with the royal family now, I can include them as part of these videos. They've had their wedding anniversary this year. This year, yes, they have. Well, this month. Sorry, this week. Um, I think it's 7 years together. So happy anniversary to Harry and Meghan. Um, but I've had a weird dream last night. Oh, that's interesting. We've got judgment. I dreamt Harry came for a reading, for a tarot reading, but he didn't come by choice. He was told to come for a tarot reading. Obviously, it's a dream. So I gets the card out. I've got the Radiant Rider-Waite deck, which is this deck, and I'm shuffling him cards. And he's like that. He's got his arms folded. He's looking away. He's tutting. He doesn't want to hear it. And he's sitting right at the end of the room. He won't even come and sit in front of me. And all of a sudden, I'm shuffling. And no, in fact, I wasn't. I put the deck on the table, and I was about to pull the reading. The deck flew up. The deck went on the floor, but two cards fell on the desk, both facing down. So I thought, I'm gonna have to look at this. So even Harry was like looking at it because his deck had gone like that. And I turned the card over and I said, Harry, I know you don't believe a word I'm saying, but I really think you need to look at this card because this is weird. And I held it up and it was covered with faces of Diana on it. all at different stages of her life. I have actually had this happen with clients where their loved ones' faces have shown up in the deck. So it's like that card gets pulled, and rather than that picture, it's Diana's face all over it. The next card was a let's just say the Men in Black energy of, men in the suits, the sunglasses, yes, those spooky type people in relation. And it felt as though he'd been doing some looking into or thinking about her death. And it was almost like I felt Diana's energy come in and trying to get his attention to be a better version of himself. I don't know whether he's getting too close to the truth. I don't know whether he's, poking the hornet's nest. I don't know whether it could be, I think it's all of it. Um, Issues within his marriage, issues within his life. He's not reacting from a normal, healthy, balanced way. And it was like, whoa. And I woke up from that dream and I was like, that was really deep. That was really deep, was that? Um, it could also mean that dream that something very similar could happen to Harry. Um, so let's pull some let's pull some cards on the dream. Let's pull some cards on my dream. So I've not pulled any cards on it, didn't journal on it. I've just literally come and you're the first people I've spoken to about it. So can I have some cards in relation to that dream of Harry last night? Temperance, balance, needing to balance something, needing to stop what he's doing. Um, God, I've got itchy nose and itchy ears and everything today. The moon, the shadow, the internal world, the judgment. We had that earlier for Harry. The judgment coming up, things being cleared, things being exposed. Um, King of Pentacles in reverse. Also, as well, yesterday, I don't know whether it's true or not, but that Camilla had been is encouraging Charles not to have contact with Charles, not to have contact with Charles. Oh, not to have contact with Harry. And I did have a moment watching it, looking at it, where I was like, oh, that's his son. But I kind of understand her perspective because the Harry that I saw in the dream was very combative. And she's got to look after her husband, but it did give me the bit of a King of Pentacle in reverse. Obviously, Charles is the king not wanting to know him because of his actions that he doesn't agree with. He's not been able to move forwards because of the internal world, his internal anguish. He's not able to rebirth himself in the way that he wanted to. Maybe having these visions about America is just not working out for Harry. The tower moment. So something's coming to a head in his life. Justice and the balancing card coming in. We've got a lot of major arcana here, which is the cycle of life. It's the big stuff that's happening. He's going through some big, big things at the minute. A lot of things coming up, and a choice is needing to be made. So I do feel that Diana is trying to get his attention, to stop bullshitting himself, to stop living this lie that he's living. Um, it's almost like I'm feeling that if there are any battles that still need to be fought for Diana, she's almost like it's trying to say to Harry, you don't need to fight my battles. I don't expect you as my son to put your. Do you know? I'm really feeling that all Diana wants is for Harry to be healthy, to be happy, to not be tormented, to not be fighting the system. And actually, that's the kind. If you're watching Harry, please listen. I don't think he's watching. And actually, that's the kindest thing he can do to his mother. The biggest way he can honour his mother is by not fighting the system. The biggest way he can honour his mother is by, living his life. If he wants to be with Meghan, fair enough. Fair enough. If they want to have as ever, fair enough. But this constant interviews, antagonism all over the place, lack of structure, the kindest thing, if he wants to get justice for his mum, he should be living a good balanced lifestyle. Because all he's doing, he's causing more trouble for Diana. I've seen it in the comment section, people running at Diana that's been dead over 20 years because of something that Harry's doing, blaming Diana and dragging her up and, holding her over the coals. And this is her fault, it's his mother's fault. Um, and it's cruel. It's cruel. Um, it's cruel that people should be reacting like that, by the way, but it's cruel that he's putting Diana in that position because every time he acts unhinged, or is perceived as unhinged, people are going, "Told you, Diana was unhinged." Um, so yeah, 7 year itch as well. The 7 year itch. Right, let's have a look at the energy of the anniversary this week. Gathering up the cards. So show me the energy of Merrick Miller, Meghan. You see how I remember the terms when it used to be Harry and Meghan, but now it's Meghan and Harry. But that's his choice. Show me the energy between Meghan and Harry this week during their anniversary. Show me the energy between Meghan and Harry this week during their anniversary. So I've got the Justice card again. Something coming in to do with justice. Defense. Chariot in reverse. I'll read them and we'll pull them and then read the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Hearts. Victory. Recent restrictions. Going forward. Financial stuff, possibly. The Hermit. Five of Swords, one more card. King of Wands in reverse. So, which is also the Henry VIII card. Oh, it's also the anniversary of Anne Boleyn's death as well this week. So their wedding anniversary, I'm hearing, will always have a sad tinge to it because it's not just the anniversary of their, I said their death then, their marriage. It's the anniversary of the death of Anne Boleyn, who was Meghan in a past life. So it's always going to be a strange day. There's always going to be stuff under the surface that even they don't understand. It's one of the reasons why their wedding day and the run up to their wedding day was a strange day energetically. And it was a beautiful sunny day. She looked lovely, I thought. The veil I thought was exquisite. I love the tiara. But I thought Harry looked tired. He looked washed out, did Harry? I loved the flowers. I loved it. I thought the sun was shining bright. But we know all the stuff with the Markles and etc. and the bridesmaid gate and um there was a lot. There was a lot. It had a weird energy in that church. For all the sun was shining bright and Meghan did look beautiful, gorgeous veil, there was an issue because it's overlapping of the timelines, if that makes sense. Um, the chariot in reverse is when you're struggling to get direction in your life. You've been that much into your defense. We've got the defense in reverse that you're actually struggling to fulfill your wishes with the Queen of Cups. And it's almost like they make a few steps forward and then they have to spring back. They can never fully be able to shine bright because of all the stuff that's been said and done. You know, when people say sometimes you can say and do too much, I'm really feeling as though they have said and done too much at this time. And it possibly feels as well that they actually do need to go and have some downtime with the hermit and really think about what they actually do want and to clean up. King of Wands in reverse. Yeah. It's like stop, 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 stop. It's almost like the mama bear energy saying just stop. Just stop what you're doing. Stop. Um, it's too much. It's too much. Um, you know, you're not honoring me in that. Think higher, be brighter. Holding on to the old pain is preventing you from stepping into your star energy. It's keeping you in addiction. It's keeping you in pain. It's almost like she's wanted him to let her go. Um, God, it's all the energy of Diana is feeling like a ball and chain with Harry that's been dragged around everywhere with him, and she's getting tired of it. She just wants to be released. Um, she just wants to be released to be able to fully progress. Um, but she also understands that she is part of the issue. That the life she led. I've always said, there was issues with both Charles and Diana. And Diana was too old, Charles was too young. They were just like, whoa, they shouldn't have even come together. They both had their issues. There wasn't a goodie and a baddie. They both had issues. They both had serious, deep-rooted issues. Charles had serious, deep-rooted issues. Diana had serious, deep-rooted issues. And coming together, boom. And it's going to take a lot of clearing. Um, but I'm wondering as well if Harry can feel that Diana is trying to step back. And is there comes a point as a parent for your own safety and sanity, either if you're physically here or you're energetic, that you have to stay. Okay, that's interesting. I've gathered up the cards and again the Queen of Cups is there for your own sanity. You have to step back. It's almost like I'm feeling Diana doesn't know Harry anymore, as though she's lost that little cheeky chappy that she knew, that little boy that yeah, judgment and it's temperance. Right. Diana, how do you feel about Harry? How does Diana feel about Harry at this time? The Hanged Man, which is upright, seeing it from a different perspective. Knight of Pentacles wanting, not just wanting to abandon him, but wanting him to be better. Three of Pentacles in reverse, though. Not wanting to be part of it. She's sick of being dragged into the whole Harry and Meghan thing. As though people, and we've all seen this online, the squad weaponizing Diana. They'll put, they'll put, take, to be fair, both sides are doing it. Both fan bases are doing it. They're weaponizing Diana and putting her in with Kate and William. They're weaponizing Diana and they're just weaponizing. She's sick of being weaponized. She's sick of being used, having her energy used by both fan bases, by, predominantly Harry as well, who is continuously using um his mum's energy. I'm also feeling as well that Diana is actually proud of William for doing that speech about, and he got a bit of backlash about that. He was accused of silencing his mum and cancelling his mum, but she's saying that it wasn't her brightest moment, that interview. And when we've all had our, been caught with our knickers down in public type thing, although she didn't have her knickers down in public, but you know what I mean. One of those moments where you're bearing your soul and you've actually been set up is not. She actually doesn't want people to see that, and she also realizes that then Harry sits down on it with the white shirt on, the black blazer, in a setting that's very similar to KP. Megan's done it as well with the black. They're using Dinah's energy to. And actually, in a way, taking it away from royals, we shouldn't be using our dead family's energy for anything. When we've not been taught how to release people properly and how to honour the dead properly. Um, oof, bloody hell, eh? Yeah, we don't need Four of Cups in reverse. I've said all I need to say. So I think that's all we need to say today. Woof. Thank you for watching. So yeah, I think this kind of content will be on here, and I'm happy about it being on here. Um, I think the reason for that because there's a lot of want to do on Claire Thackeray, but what happens is because these videos are quite popular, people jump on these and forget the other stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I need the other stuff to be watched as well for people's well-being. Anyway, shh, Claire. I'm off to get some little tea. Thank you for watching. Love to all. If you're coming in here in a few months' time and this is the first one you've watched, um, then there is a playlist on here called Global News. Thank you and there is a playlist on here called CT's Royal Tarot, where you can track the royal journey with me. Thanks for watching. Love to all, and